That was the last time I saw him. Mara, that was not the last time I would hear from him. I would get calls on time with him being like, so don't you want to have lunch? Don't you want to? And I'd be like, yeah, maybe one day. He can keep push out. He eventually realized I'm not going back to him, right? I'm not. He came to discover ukuthi okay Karabo akanyagazi this time around gusiras like akabuyi no muntu akabuyi, and it was at this particular juncture of it being clear that angbuyi that I started to get then watula. He broke off and he started to clap me with spells throughout the time when he was trying. I would get the sleeping with him or very heavily pregnant with his child because blah blah blah. Mara after he made a discovery that no matter how much bring back lots of lava he uses anyagazi, that's when he went below the belt. And with me being unable, I started to get dreams where it is that I would be with some guy that I didn't recognize in my dream, and then after sleeping with him I would be scared that I've got HIV. He went really below the belt, like as in he tried to get me infected. He tried to get me to sleep in Ngulaza, guys. That was some of the dreams. Other dreams, I would be with a guy in my dream, but this guy was so substandard to him. Like in comparison to EXYAM, this guy, because he wanted to make me be with someone that's not going to be anything in comparison to him. And these dreams just kept on coming and flooding me, and it would only be after losing and I did make mention of this, it would be after losing everything that I would finally learn what those dreams meant, because losing my job made me realize that I have a spiritual gifting that I need to take very seriously, because much of what it is that I saw in my dreams started to happen in waking life, and I therefore realized so start to take your dreams seriously. So in retrospect I then thought about all the dreams pertaining him, and that's when I realized that all throughout our relationship he was busy with me. The toro that I used to get when we were dating, even though it was yet before I got born again, me being trapped with him being at a distance, not trying to rescue me. I got so many spiritual dreams when I was lost, showing me his witchcraft, but I didn't know what it was. And it would be only once I came to Christ, and only 3 years after coming to Christ, because that's when I lost everything, that I would finally reach a conclusion that, my goodness, this man, that's why next I don't with any level of success. And Joanong busy trying to keep me with him in spirit. At some point, because I was being harassed, and I was also being harassed by my family, I wrote him an email and I was like, leave me alone, girl, witchcraft, please. Go and do what you want to do. At which point he did not respond to me but to my mom, because he knew that I was incarcerated by my family, held hostage by them, and so he got me yelled at by my mom. And at that point I was like, I guess this is it between you and I. Like, we are done. You've never disrespected me to a point where boy, we used to be partners, and now that's when we became what would be the tantamount of mortal enemies, and the rest is frankly history. It would be years after we broke up that he would marry the woman that was the bane of our existence, of my existence, a chick that was around before me, but she turned him down because he was struggling. And only once he started to make money and do well for himself, this chick was now suddenly prepared to talk, and then he went and married her. Whatever, I wouldn't have cared if that happened, but I started getting ditoro about the two of them mocking and deriding me, teasing me, and I was like, yeah, Zayn, this is nonsense. And then he, after he told still I moved on, but then I started to get dreams a few years back, maybe 3, where it is that now it was not him and his woman, but just him. First of all, I got dreams where it is that you see, Bafazi, when you think Uguti, you can deride a woman. Like when an ex-husband or an ex-boyfriend is out here teasing his ex with you as the new woman, that is a massive red flag, a huge red flag. And he is using you as a rod on the back of a woman that hasn't had it coming. This chick in my dreams, now all of a sudden my ex-boyfriend was with me in my car go front seat, petting at me, like kissing my neck and everything, while this chick was sitting go back seat. And I kept on saying to him, please leave me alone, you're married, please leave me alone, you're married. And his wife was in the back seat, sitting there. She was in pain because she could see that Bilwakage was essentially still with me. When I woke up from that dream, I was like, God, what does it mean? And the Lord was like, there is something that is happening right now in their marriage that's made this woman finally wake up and realize ukuthi ex-boyfriend yako ayikaze imove on. He is basically harassing her with the memory of you, and he is starting to also become cold and mean in ways that he never was with you, because he's taking it out on her. And so in that dream, I felt bad for the wife, because she was really sad, and she was literally a passenger. She was a third wheeler in this car where this man was out here kissing me and all that jazz while she was in the back. I would then continue to get a cornucopia, like a plethora of dreams as the years progressed, where this time around, never mind him trying to kiss me, an intervention that was staged for his cheating with me. And the wife rocked up and was like, Nangu, I told you, he's cheating on me. No, Karabo. He's cheating on me with this woman from the past, and I got made to look like a harlot that was out here having an affair with a married man when he was having an affair with me. Good stage intervention against his infidelity over her with me. When I woke up, I was like, the audacity of that dream, the audacity of me being Inyanzi to a woman that was the side piece when we were together. She was the bane of my existence. When I never jola, this chick nang bora, una phone la boyfriend yaka busi robets, yes, like this chick, una lomo kupa chelete. Hulo reka katiba ya Durban July. Keep us all about na hang bitches, long bitches, amaro tomato bitches, I'm sad sing wow. We nearly broke up over that chick. We nearly broke up over that woman. And I gave him an ultimatum, and he made a decision to go to him because really and truly when he had no money. She was a gold digger. And in my dream, the tables had turned, where I was now the bane of her existence, where I was now the one that her man is taking calls off Kamatsa, where I was now the one disturbing the peace of a marriage, where I was now the homewrecker. Because uzo disrespect abafazi abayi-2 kanjani over just 2 decades. 1 decade is for Karabo's disrespect, and the next decade is for your wife's disrespect, like proper in the exact same fashion. Utlodlala basadi bayi-2 ka each other, but in different times of your life. In the early years, mengi nyatsiswa mina nga that chick. Manja, this dude is trying to ugu nyatsisa that woman ngam. You know Binaya Tony Braxton, who do you think I am? Don't you know that he was my man? Did you know about us back then? I keep hearing that song on a loop whenever it comes to the sentiment of Msadi wa my ex. She is now getting to the sobriety of that woman in the music video, yeah, Tony Braxton, where it is that she married Itombolo, but that she initially that she married, but you married him. Mina, however, one of the lyrics in Tony Braxton's song is, did you know that he tried to stay, to come back with me? He wasn't man enough for me. So many reasons why your love is true. What makes you think he'll be good to you? No, it makes no sense, cause he will never change. Girl, you better recognize the game. Oh, you know that song, you know the music video. It's basically a future girlfriend / now turned wife flossing iring yakhe to the ex-girlfriend that rightly walked away from a relationship. This chick, but abe sobriety later on. Rubbish, frankly, because this dude, just like in the music video at Tony Braxton, you know how in the end he tries to get with Tony because Tony flirts with him. type establishment thing. And then Tony Braxton shows this woman so I don't know why unzo ufranta uflosa, and then at the end she throws a ring to him. In the end like a ring on some kibata divorce, you are a worthless man type establishment thing. Yeah, the Lord showed me has gotten to that place where she is realizing first and foremost about me first and about for because guys, literally at some point I had a dream where they were talking about me as umfazi or what is this, mentally ill. Already mentally ill, I lost my mind, I did that and the other, what a fish paste. Basically he lied. And now all these years down the line, the woman is realizing that this guy he lied about who I am, what I apparently did or did not do, and that he was the one that was the perp. And now she is made to look like Ipampun. Now she's being made to look like Ipampun. And I don't know what under heaven is presently going on in Gabo. But all I know is that he's back again. Karabo, I want you. First and foremost, you make me. I get a cousin in there. Anything when now would you marry ex-boyfriend that kept you single for 13 years? And he has made out of the side piece that was the bane of your existence when you were dating. He has made a wife out of her and a baby mama. So unabantwana naye or umntwana, last time I checked there was one child, a daughter. They might have ever since then had more kids. Unalebana let this chick. So if I were to end up married to him, Kimonga back after him and her divorce, not only would I be the second wife when I was there first, but I would be the second wife under a woman that I was a rival to, that we were fighting over the same man. And now I have to keep seeing her for the rest of my life because my husband is her baby daddy and they have to take care of Bana. Le side piece that became a wife, that now became a baby mama, that I have to keep on because that messed up with me, married her, and now wants to come back to me. After telling abantu bagibo, now this woman that mina ngiyahlanya, we expect ukuthi abantu bagibo nabangani bakhe bakdala, not bakdala, present. He did not break up with all of his cornucopia of boys. Yeah, I was able to bloma nabo back in the day because mekungena taboo, mekungena scandal. Segune scandal manch. So he expects me ukuthi ngiyobloma vivye nabangani bakhe bakdala. Well, to me bakdala, but it's his friends that have been here all this time. Kwamele mina siyo bloma again at a braai. Nabangani bakhona. Kele a sight for sore eyes, having had him fish me out from everybody mara finally back in the day rap all I do is win no matter what. This guy will have literally won no matter what. Uyo Vimba incarcerate Sun City Danyani spiritual version imedia kwakdala for 13 years besu yabuyo yomchat uyo divorce ex divorce gold digger that was only happy to be with you. Finally you got to enjoy being with the woman that you always wanted, but they didn't want you when you were poor. You get to marry her, then makata lapo bese akataza ngoba akakho trustworthy, akakho ride or die, and then you go back to the ride or die and you get both women. Like literally all you do is win no matter what. You got to finally be with the woman that can only be with men who have money. And then after you messed with her for a couple of years, you then go and be with the one that was always ride or die. And this entire time, the one that was always ride or die, mega hleze jardini, ago emetsele se khwapa ale dry. Asna next everything. And guess what? You also are gonna get to dive in there like your Trey songs. Nothing ever happened because she hasn't slept with anybody else ever since you. uzolala nam ingathi nothing ever happened, ingathi azange sa break up ngoba ayikho enye indoda ekhe yandlula la ejardini. No one else. 13 years gafela ntse go le dry cobwebs dog. Khona le chastity belt le senotlolo tshwantse a lo secure wo fitla yena ka senotlolo se se ka a lo la chastity belt, and then be the one to come back with my nether regions being like, hi, you look familiar, I remember you. Yes, like no need for us to adjust, no shock absorption. We don't need to go for training on what is the change management. There's no need for change management training over here at Karabo's body, because you are dealing with the exact same guy. Maybe with at least thinanyana. Maybe he might have a scarce extra in this one particular part of the body, but it's largely the same thing. Ain't no need to go for change management training, because everything is already used to all this. Think you can just hit that because you hit it once. It's hilarious. Anyway, that level of disrespect. Isitshela ukuthi wangachati enye nenye into leqhamuka emgaqweni ezofuna ukukuchata, and I'm like, wena ungaychata indoda enjalo ezokuhlaza kuyenza ibhabhuni, ipampuni, iperekisi, ezokuyenza ipopayi phambi kwa wonke umuntu, ezokhoza ukuthi wena ungakwazi ukusheba abantu emahlweni, ukubheka abantu emehlweni, usahlo khona usheba abathu bakho habona momahlong, mara before ne ba go bitsa skoni, before ne ba go bitsa makoti, before ne ba batla go ne ba le excited go bina uzosiwashela siphekele. But after 10 years of all the scandal, ukulwa kanje na rentse re karapana in a cockpit, this time around hauna chomi ya hai etlo go sheba mo mahlong, ha ba go budumedisa gonna be like, hi Karabo. Family ya ha ba go dumedisa, hi Karabo njani, hi nong right. Yeah, that's how it's gonna be. And then can you imagine how odd it's gonna be kati Christmas is tshwantse re lata bana go baby mama house, and it's the chick that I was a rival to, and bana ba gagwe ba bagolo in comparison to my kids with him. And not only that, she was the first wife. Umfazi mekanyatsa because she was busy with boyfriend yam when we were together. Ibe uya amchadile bese baya divorce, and then he comes and marries me. Naye lo cherwa khona ngagcina ngihleka. She wanted to laugh at me back in the day. She would finally succeed. If anything, I caused her a great deal of pain. Because monna gagane sentse na busy a lingarile a tshwarane le Karabo moboko. I don't pride myself in having been a hindrance or an interruption mo lenyalong la bona. Mara bottom line is, hi bane o tlolo ya motho o tlo nonzo le pitso mo tshware boho, because when all that boho holding rando, you are going to make yourself obsessed and addicted to the prospect of continuing to control someone that you feel like you need to control until o ka se gone concentrate mo bophelong ba hao. So frankly, lomfazi lona that he married was subjugated to the tyranny not so much of him missing me in all of his nostalgia, but she was subjugated to the tyranny of him continuing to use witchcraft on me until he could not let go. Uzienze unable to let go. He made himself obsessive, and now this ex of mine is gonna die in a car accident at FNB Stadium if he doesn't repent, and his death is going to happen on the date of the rapture. Some of his family members have come at me like a ton of bricks because of these prophecies. I have gotten a whole bunch of naysayers. Mara hai bana o tloetsa boloi ha botloko hakana. Tlhaloganyang hore ha itlo ba motho o leng busy ka yena. O tlo tlhokafalang mo strateng. O tlo chasewa ke koloi. It's going to be you. These people are facing judgment, and there are women out here bangaphelang on some engwileng wentho etlang bathong o batla go tshegisa ka batho, and o batla go khoza batho go ba ska khona go sheba mo mahlong ha bang feta ba shebe mo fatshe nka re ona le something ebukekayo down there in comparison to ubuso bam ingathi khala lam linkulu nje le khabara sa tlhogo sa ka ofela so ba khone go se sheba nka re ke na le leprosy batho ba bang sheba bang thiba ba bang daka nka re ke tennis ba sang shebe mo mahlong ha ke le mo rumo. I will not be that taboo. Kimaswabi. First and foremost, I'm not even waiting with your chatwa. I'm going in the rapture, but should the Lord tarry and give me a husband, today, Hangimas, I will meet him. Rosheka the hands. Hakotsiba chomia haya, hakotsiba njaya denye katsi, hakotsiba me, hakotsiba anti, batlong tsiba, kitloba kitsibisito batobana, brand spanking new afresh. ki fiancé wa teng ki motho wa teng Lankutwa and labantu bakibo bazongamkelela umuntu onguye ngamhlanje, not who I was back then and not who I've been all along, but who I will be as at the date of meeting me. And so they will make a judgment on that day as to how they receive me. And I am not going to be uncomfortable at family gatherings, at braais, at Christmas lunches. I am not going to be like out here spawning and having a hard time looking in the eye baby mama yakon. I am not going to be having any awkward moments because ex ifigile out just singing me this time mega John Legend Wankutwa, trying to come back into impilo yami. Angizothathwa njengentunami ngoba nginamuntu ngoba futhi I am 40 years old. Ngiyazi ukuthi ngidala nomfazi wakhona una 40. I bet being umfazi now that she's a little bit older seka mature asana rabishana naliyona back in the day. I bet you naye she can relate with much of what I have to say because ungethe the same rubbish that I was dating back in the day. Not only that, the gender-based violence problem in South Africa has made women be able to relate. Do you understand? With each other, no matter beef, no matter beef back in the day, no matter compete, rivals. Mase kushona bosisa ba 20 manje uzokhohlwa ngerival yakho wangudwa uzokhohlwa ngendaba ukuthi lo muntu lo modlala netball naye in different teams megadlala Lisa John when I'm modlala Glen Vista, and so menhlala bhekana ngama S nidopana and whatnot. Asizona 20 years down the line go tlhoka fetse ba basadi by 5 from the same netball team belonging to different teams. No longer are you going to be looking at this as a rivalry. To a point where we are rolled on the floor as with a steamroller. The way it's okay for Tina to be made to live very awkward lives. They are coming back after 20 years of rivals and then put us in their marriages or make us embrace isitembu. When women are waking up to see uinyongo and how they play with all of us, bazo snap out of the rivalry yakona. So I don't even doubt that just like God keeps on showing me Pina Elia Tony Braxton Lorle Nanja fella Oshibile di Bampun Baboon rubbish. Because if at all this dude were to divorce Wakona and then come and marry me, he is somehow, just like he did with her, going to make her look like a perpetrator. He's going to make her looking gati agatembek dalwi gold digger lomon lona again una my issues blah blah what fish paste and khalanze ese ride or die utlomuseba lena jaga ha na mosebi asibile na lena. And just to help you understand how much this guy, because of his involvement in the occult, character, he never spoke badly about this chick when we were together. He was basically a good guy that was decent when decency was needed. Mara after, a manipulator, a singer all over the show. Now all of a sudden, I'm an ex-girlfriend. I'm telling you right now, any of his exes, he had an ex-girlfriend that was busy with Speedy, the musician back in the day. Speedy. Enele groupie, yes, Speedy, this chick. Even with that, he would speak about her as she used to break my heart because she kept on ringing back to Speedy, and after Speedy would hurt her, megas are like him. Yeah, all over the show, Village Bicycle, he never spoke badly about her, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I'm Tanda. I loved him because he did not make it his life mission and a big fat chunky prerogative to speak smack about women that he dated that hurt him. It was like water under the bridge. Let's move on. So that maturity was attractive. That maturity was something that I imagined was worth the while to write home about. That maturity was something that I could take in my stride. And then Lomuntulona grew into occult magic. And as a result of his adoration of occult magic, wakala manje sega steba abafazi by my ex or mina in particular. The way I was so ride or die to this guy and the way that I was so loyal to him, I am the one woman that he was never ever supposed to speak ill of, and yet I'm also the one woman that he dragged the name of in the mud the most. They become that below the belt, they become that nonsensical, that nonsensical, they become that rubbishy. Everything is that comes in the future. But they've got a whole bunch of psycho fans, so they get away with murder for very many years. My ex-boyfriend brought this on himself. Guys, uzo clicker on the content yam kanjani. Where I am out ngikhala ngemithi bese uzongisha ngemithi vye. If ikorobela yakho ayisebenzanga in 2014 why izosebenza manje? If i-Brimback Lost Love ayisebenzanga in 2014 why izosebenza manje? But that's just a thing, right? They think ukuthi these spells are going to work because isikhathi sindlulile. And I'm 40 now. Attrition, pain, sorrow, loss, want, lack, and ukjaha. Kanguti mean I'm going to just walk all of a sudden diving in to a very tumultuous, horrific situation just for the sake of ukuba nethando at all. And because it is familiar, like I said earlier, because you hit that once, you think you can hit it again in the future. Hadebade, I do apologize. So, jagaha ho dutswi. Ho blomilwe. Momo strating. Gas strategy so society sense. Now my thing that I'm now going to out here communicate is this. Basadi, lekang ngaphela as much as possible. Kisas baiskele. Kisadi geni. Kisabatle. Lijo tsorlo loya loyole. Lebeleng for story ke accommodate mar le lona jaaka ga ke le jwitse story se se telle. That is not the first time that I'm telling it. There is a much longer version of it. It is in multiple parts in one of my other videos. Tsagal. Jaaka ga ke le tlotletse ditori tse di kana tall tales. Ha di telle grand shapo ke nnete. Another king kana that has made you imagine ukuthi the life is sustainable and that go right nje ugyo phihliswa kabuhlungu kanjena ngamadoda. Ugyo exchange wangathi singamapenti kabuhlungu kanjena ngamadoda. Ugyo thathwa for granted kabuhlungu kanjena by amadoda of which are prepared ugyo bloma on the sidelines at the bleachers. Do you understand? For a decade, 10 years, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10, prepared to sit around for dijaratse 10 watching an ex-girlfriend isotleg and then try to see if akazokwazi ukuyoshela. Now that gundlule 10 years, say ukuthi Karabo mega stubborn because she was still young in her 20s and viable and fertile when we broke up. Manje gundlule decade yonke and mina ngikhumbula the glory of what we used to have when we used to be together. Amadoda la emgaqweni don't know her the way that I know her. So since I've experienced le value yakhona and abanye abantu abakayiboni le value, mina I am going to capitalize on indaba yokuthi usase single at 40 without even stopping to realize ukuthi he's going to look like an ominous Freddy Krueger. He's going to look like a ghost in into. That's going to make everybody say of me Hashem. Waba single for 10 years, what's gonna amthathe back? Waba single for 13, not even 10 years, because I've been saved for 13 years. But I've been suffering for 10. But when I came to Christ, that was when I stopped. Like I'm a relationship. So I've basically been single largely anyway. The guy in America doesn't count, and the other little baboon from South Africa doesn't count. Yeah, I've been single ever since then. I'm just going to look like Skepsel Wankutwa, like shame type case. I'm just going to look like Skepsel, guys, that took back an ex-boyfriend. Ana 40 asacha achahile angalile on into mega mele ngoba akusebenzeke akanga kaze uzoloka like a ghost kabuhlungu kanjena kanjani empilweni kamuntu and not expect ukuthi abantu bahawuleke kuyena mamukele bohloko ba re shem ke sona. Hey, he then finally gets to take Imedi for a wife that was always there, just like all of these boys. Just like all of these boys, including the one who at Vetia Nesta Momo TV or whatever, or keep purity. Hey, his boys that Archer went and married the women that they were messing with the lives of. Basadi bane baba hutusa butlhoko baba nyadile. Kaofela bon, like I'm kidding you not right now. Not even one that did not marry the Medi of the time. He's the only one. After 10 years, I tell you guys, just like you now, I got to marry Medium. Except is looking at me like back in the day I could walk into a braai and everybody be like, yo Karabo, what's up? Now shame everybody would look at me like he said 13 years until she finally took him back. They'd look at me on some why usanki anything etang. Not only am I wanted by him, back, but there's a friend of his that broke us up using spells because Nana Limona, he had a crush on me. He lived in my neighborhood, well, close enough. And early in our relationship, he sowed discord using witchcraft because he liked me. So he figured rather than watch him be with me, this guy every so often watches my content and tells himself that if I were to accommodate him, angang chat. Kabang. Like guys that are happy to go and make Karabo or women like me. A taboo that is out here going to 10 years later date the best friend, not best friend, but one of the closest friends. One of the closest friends of a guy that she used to be with years ago for 5 years. Sekito one of his closest boys. After this taboo has happened, goodness, some of his friends who have hit me with the Korobel to be with him. Because Nyabakaza, or he's always liked me but couldn't be with me because I was with him. And then there was a guy that I used to have a massive crush on. If anything, he came first, Marazanga Shela. In primary school, he was in my primary school. Like I said, I met him first. Massive crush, biggest crush. Actually, he was the first guy that I ever had big strong feelings for, to a point where I felt like it was love. He basically dilly-dallied. I bumped into him years later at Wits University first year. And then a couple of years down the line, I end up dating this guy. And then I come to discover, as we carry on hanging out, oh, this guy that I went to primary school with, that is my essential first love, is one of your friends. So it became impossible for us not to be together, because this guy now was one of the friends of the man that I was now with. So basically our opportunity to ever be together was completely taken because of that. I keep getting dreams of that same dude because he kept on watching me and my life on Facebook because, like I said, he liked me first. He was there first. Megakona from primary school. Overtake like a truck on the highway getting overtaken by a vehicle. He lost his shot. Deal. Because only busy answering Facebook, he was good people's. At some point he was good people's, but he stopped being good people's. A whole bunch. He has. Oh, he once did a. I once got Toro Kayena, where it is that he was coming. He came to Mocharateng. He came Mocharateng and said to me, with a schmuck, like a little snarly schmuck on his face, on some, I wouldn't have wasted your time, I would have married you. I would have married you. He is one of the guys that sabotaged that relationship. From Facebook, and from a distance. From a distance. He was our friend, because I kept Nelim Pinja high, and we reconciled later because of this relationship. After a lawyer relationship, this guy was so bitter, me being with that ex of mine, that I once got a dream where I was having a sexual relationship with him. One kapa treated me like a one-night stand afterwards, and I kept on crying on something, why are you treating me like this? That's how below the belt his sorcery was. And all these years down the line, they're still they're still surveilling me. All of them, they're still surveilling me. And this same one that I had massive feelings for when I was in primary school. So basically, he could have been my first love, my first everything, husband even. High school sweetheart, yeah. If this dude had stepped up to the game, he would have been my everything. But he wasn't my everything. Opportunity ke look of it. First year, first day, orientation week. And we were still out just spawning. Wow, drag my feet. Dragged his feet. He dragged his feet through the mud. Dragged his feet like that. What drag my feet? Okay. Did not shella. And then I raised up below the belt witchcraft because Khalan Zambatla, right? Now, because he's still busy surveilling me, I had a dream of him coming to me on some, I would have married you, never go sing as an uncle. Yo, dude, I don't doubt that you would have. Bottom line is, however, what kind of a husband would you have been? And not only that, what kind of boyfriend would you have been? Given that when I opened the later on in life and I gave my life to Christ, you would have still been a disaster in my life. This dude, all Tlilenkona with spite, saying, I would have married you, I wouldn't have wasted 5 years of your life. Recently, I got a dream of the world around us too, saying, let's say his name was Pita, saying, Karabo married Pita. The two of them finally came together. They loved each other from primary school. And now look at them at 40, be reconciled. I mean, can you play more games? Can you play more games? Can you? So this Peter guy is priding himself in indaba yokuthi ex-boyfriend yami drop iball ngaze ngamdampa, and now he is regretful. Kodwa he's telling himself ukuthi it's still possible for him to chatter me after, again, he got children, he got married, divorcing that wife, and then making me listen to the Peter one. It's even more taboo than the one of being with my ex-boyfriend. And then I am now go the braai, I am now go the Christmas lunching, I am now go the gatherings, the social, I am now go the picnicking. Lidi Chomita, my ex, maybe minus my ex because he doesn't want to see me, and they are all looking at me as this woman that married Hlongwane, got ex-boyfriend, but not first before his scandal said 10 years young, and Zarasa go YouTube. Yo, like the stuff that the reputational damage, the reviling that these people are trying to endure me through. Yes, like you will not, for like proper. It's just shocking what people are trying to do. It's shocking. It's like batho ba kgale that want to come in. Kopa letsweng konna ntebaleng taboo ya go ba le Peter ele chomi ya my friend, ya my ex, and taboo ya go ba le Peter after the scandal is indlulile, and taboo ya gore hape le Peter is yet another divorcee with bana ba bangata ngata fela, and that's once ke lonka di seconds di scraps, when just like it is with my ex-boyfriend, I was here first. You met me when I was just 11 in primary, and the two of us were out there drawing circles around each other on the floor in primary. As I was back then, of course, in primary school I was too young, but then you were given a shot in high school. You knew about me. He didn't go to the same high school as me, but my friend was his friend, and he kept on asking about me. He could have pushed, but he didn't. Then varsity, first year, could have pushed, but didn't push. Kept on seeing each other, partying, Melville, blah blah. Could have asked, didn't. He wasted time. Yeah, and after wasting all that time, who expect that Karabo segele Hlongwane nka jola le ena, because ha ona motho mo tlang for nna ba itwetsa go mustan but kazo ke taba gore anga aka kreka since ke chaza ga level bang batla. So now they say ba sentse maphelo a bona ba tshwatlile, seeing as I'm still good, clean slate, they're happy to come and grab me. Yes, guys, some of the guys are busy with all of this nonsense. Some of them are HIV positive. Strangers, some of them. Others are too taboo for me to ever be with them. Like my ex, like Peter, like, yeah, kodwa. Apparently, allegedly, because I'm not luto, la empilwen, kwameleng tate anything that comes my way. That's the problem. That's the issue that I'm facing, and I've got a whole bunch of women but I'm not potentially able to do that with any level of prosperity. You guys, on some guys won't have no chat Karabo, at least by offer utandonyana something. Lebata golong ke tsa setshego sa South Africa e ka fela ne ke a bona. Le teng le batla go nketsa ntho ya go setla ya go tsa dintho tse leng pap nate tse leng flat tse tswileng moya le mataere a sa drive geng mo strateng. Le batla go nketsa pampuno e tshwatlogileng and since ne ile busy get her into the relationship tsa tlhakantsuke mara ga di tsaya anyway, because nna ke motona ga ke le mokana ke na le 40, so ke hanka dinka. Le batla go nketsa motho grandship o latlhileng ke re le modimo. Le batla go nketsa motho o latlhileng modimo, because if at all I were to settle like that, it tlabe ele a lack of trust, a lack of tshepo in umdimo ngisho. It tlabe go obvious gore a kana taba lo tshepa modimo, because anare ke eng about go nyala either one of my ex's boys or yena ex ya teng. Ke lo ba taboo around batho ba sa gone go nsheba mo matlhong bang palega ba balegisa matlho ha bang a ke kena mo roomong. Ke lo ba le sebo la batho ba ngata ke tlo kopana le bana ba bona setse ba, some of them ba ke enter into the teenage years when I was supposed to know them from the time they were just babies. Ke lo kopana le little teenage girls and boys that I have to go and tell stories. I was here when we were all 22, and now that everybody's all grown up, gonna ke khutlang hape tshwantse ke tlo ntse ke tlo tla ditori tseo about why gona le gepe kana nna ke sa ba itse bana ba teng ke sa ba godisa like everybody else. Why ke sa gona bana go from age 5 to 6, from age 7 to 13. Why I never got to do that? Tshwantse ke lo explain all of that. Tshwantse ke lo tlhalosa all of that. Ke lo ba that taboo. What about all that? looks like what neither eye has seen, nor ear heard, nor mind conceived, the things which God has prepared for those who wait on him. What about that looks like that which is an exceeding and abundant provision above anything you can ever think to ask for? What above that looks like a good and a perfect gift that is from above, that is from the Father of heavenly lights? It is essentially blasphemy to God for anybody to expect me to settle like this. It's blasphemy. It is sacrilege. It is an attempt to make Christianity look like something robang. It is written in God's word that the devil has come to steal, kill, and destroy, but Christ has come to give life and life abundantly. So Jaga Hamudimo is going to look like Unkutwedize. Is he not going to look like Satan? Is he not going to look like Satan if Minangzotati ex-boyfriend I'm back? Or even Umganwake? Mina ngizojola nje just for the sake of ukujola. Mina ngizothatha nje umuntu ozofuna ungichata just for the sake of ukuchata, just for the sake of ukuyoqulelwa, ululating music at a wedding. I mean, why under heaven would I have to take that in my stride? There is nothing seemly about these carrots that are being dangled in my face, and yet they are being dangled anyway because nibukele shebile le tonetse matlo ngare ke exam paper ele sa itlhaloganye le sa igoneng ele tlo failang e tlo le trapang. 40 years of age. You are gawking at my age of 40 the way that you would look at an exam question number 1. Eling here. Etatolang. Meandering. Ngare gilulis interchange. The way le sa tsebeng we arabagateng. You are gawking at my 40 years of age as a very complex exam question. Le tonetse matlo. And because of tonnereng matlo, exam question le sa kgoneng we arab. Le batla go ifa karabo e sa etseng sense. Le busy le answera something eto tsikinyetsang lecture. Etlo tshegisang marker. I don't get paid enough for this. That's what you're doing. Khona find exam exam papering in ebe unka a marker a red and point to the X and say here it is. You know that joke doing its rounds on the internet? That's how you are trying to get my prayers answered. Precisely because I'm 40 years old. Well, I will wait for God. Emela modimo le sa motshepeng ene ke tlo emela modimo le monnyatsang o le nanang go ntlogetse fela gore nna ke lo tumpwa ke lo trapwa ke lo ravazwa ke di ex-boyfriend tsa go gutla ke a blast from the past, di memory nje fela tsa go bola tsa gale tse nna tshwantse ke dinke kankane because apparently allegedly ha ona engwe ntwe etlang Karabo bophelo ba gago bo stopile G statue when you were 30 years old. When you were 29 years old. For 10 years, nothing has been given. Lobzalwane bakho clearly abusebenzeli. Ever since o enter lobzalwane bakho walahlekelwa. So, nna Karabo ke go fe some kind of semblance of your normal life. Yazini ngizameni as much as you want. Ngamakorbela enu ngizohlala ngwakhipha and with every new spell that you cast, ngizohlazwa. And lokuhlaza loku mina I would much rather not lankutlo. I would much rather not ngihlaze kabuhlungu kanjena. I would much rather not ukunikhipha kabuhlungu kanjena kodwa nizokhipha itori zenu ngizohlala ngizitshela nize ningiyekele lankutlo hale sabatlo go longtshiwa ka dipenti le dibunga le tla amogela taba ya hore yona is a very complex question ya go exam e tshwantse le baleng hore le lo pass. How to get go exam le skimile fela le spotile ma page I2 from chapter 7 lo fail. Ha le ka guessa di karabo tsa multiple choice question, you are going to be negative marked and come out of there minus 27%. Lo faila lankutla lentse le zama le experimenta going back to drawing board ga le qeta mo ha ke sa advice ke lemsa lona ke le rejecta be le ngaphela le tlo nentse le busy at this thing over and over again trying to ukuhlaza umuntu ongahlazeki. That the Lord will not allow the righteous to be put to shame. They will be rather the wicked, they will be the ones that are put to shame and confounded, who are my foes. But as for the righteous, the Lord will not allow for us to be put to shame. After 13 years and all they can say is, oh Karabo, you still look good. After all this cat is in surprised they pregnant at 40 because I'm still fertile. I'm not doing it. If at all the Lord is going to give me any of those things that you claim are not coming, dili pure, dili perfect, dili dintle, ile exam ya go passa, ile 100% mo scripting, ile ya motho grandship o ngotseng because o badile, and so therefore o passitse. My husband, if he exists, ha bane wa tla go satle rapture pele o tla ba ngwetse pampiri a baletseng for 2 years kaofela antsa le busy a pacer the floor reciting, regurgitating everything I badileng mo textbookung. Atlangole ngwana batho a gutle gae a thotse 95 to 100%. Kupa le ska tlotlalang ka bana ba modimo. Do not play dance around the game. Ka bana ba morena Jesu. Ga go khwita, ga go tswa mo striving yaka. I've done this much time so far. Khanka dropa bolo ko hlaziwa. And then nanjwanong uhlazo, it's never been my middle name. Khalekile the one that shows people up, if anything. Khale mo life nkile the one obontang batho di flames. Because vele vele khaleke tlhalifile. You are not about to go and destroy my winning streak. Kinali 40. Ke maswabi. I've done all this time up until this far. I'm gonna finish. Just can't give up now. Came too far from where I started from. Nobody told me the road would be easy. So go baltlogela ngozama honyala because go fitile di jara. And because ke na le 40 e kana e le confusing go exam ngwe le failisang ka multiple choice. Lankutlo. Tswang monna. Ain't nobody out here in these streets gonna take me nkani, and ain't nobody out here in these streets gonna go ayongihlaza angihlazise ngabantu angikhoze ukuthi ngiyo embrace abantwana begirl bomfazi that I was rivaling with rengwapana ka di French manicure and tips when we were both 22, and now today bana ba hae ba busy ba dutse ntse ba zwinkisa manto a bona mo sofenyaka ke maswabi a ke ha go tlo ba bana ba tshire ene ke lwana ke Karabo mo ntlong yaka ke bana ba hae le yena ha hona ngwana wa tshire ne le side piece eneng bora back in the day e tlo dulang mo ntlong yaka cause ntatwa teng ra mo shega ke a le ka lebala. Dream on ain't no rival kid, no rival's kid. Gonna eat the Kellogg's cornflakes in my pantry. Ake ba batle bana ba teng because bomme ba teng Karabo ne ba nkentse skepsele back in the day hane ke tswa le ntatwa teng. Ake tlo accommodate ke lo tlhokomela ngwana wa nyatsi ya gale wa side piece ya gale wa tshirene ke dula ke ngwapa. That kid is forever going to be lost to me. Lantse ke rata bana ngwanolo o tlo dula e le taboo in my face. So go tlo mo kenya ko ntlong yaka ke mo alole mpeto ke mo changele bed linen ke mo fepe di Kellogg's le di Oreo tse mo pantry yaka is to be very naive. I'm not about to give my ex's child with that woman my freaking Oreos. Dream on. I'm signing out in Christ's name, Kwenke. Peace.